Perfect. Perfect. All right.
Let me be the lesser of all.
Channel Toro Heroes Scribble Guide Schwarz.
Yep.